I'm driving the second generation Honda HR-V. In this video, I'm going to tell you all the secrets about how I review a car while reviewing the HR-V. Item 1, establish a rapport with the audience by appearing personable. Item 2, smoothly transition into a voiceover that sets the stage. In this speedy encapsulation, I'll note that the second generation HR-V shares its basic structure with the latest Honda Civic. Versus the previous HR-V, shown here, the newest HR-V is 2.6 inches wider and 8.7 inches longer with a 1.7 inch longer wheelbase. Despite larger exterior dimensions, interior volume has actually dropped slightly in most trims. No worries, my ultra-average 5'10" body still fits in the back seat with ease, as proven by this B-roll shot with a GoPro stuck on a window. This is also a prime moment to mention that the cargo area holds a healthy 24.4 cubic feet of stuff and has a low liftover height. Insert quip here about how you'll hurt your back dancing on TikTok instead of hoisting luggage into your HR-V. Look at me keeping this review topical. As for price, the HR-V starts under $24,000, not including destination charges. And now I appear on camera again to tell you that front-wheel drive comes standard, but for $1,500, you can choose all-wheel drive. I could have done this in voiceover, but instead, I'm appearing on camera to maintain that critical host-viewer relationship. Continuing the powertrain details, the HR-V's engine is a 2-liter unit producing 158 horsepower, partnered with a continuously variable transmission. And now, I'll let the editor show the fuel economy numbers rather than having to describe them. Regarding the engine, 158 horsepower doesn't sound like much, but the old HR-V only offered 141 horsepower, so we're moving in the right direction. And at full throttle, it feels peppy. Yeah, I said peppy. Moving on to the continuously variable transmission, also known as a CVT, I could gain credibility here by complaining about it because CVTs have traditionally offered elastic propulsion and groaning engine noises. But the truth is, Honda CVT is really pretty good. As I ease into the accelerator there, I'm not hearing groaning because I'm driving at a normal speed. Now if I drive at a journalist pace, yeah, okay, I'm hearing the engine, but it doesn't feel like it's racing or working incorrectly. I think if you put most drivers in this car and asked them what the transmission was, and you covered everything up, they would probably think, I don't know, just a transmission. The CVT's fine. Exiting that section with my credibility hopefully intact, I transition to ride quality. The previous HR-V had a comparatively simple torsion beam rear suspension, but here we have an independent rear suspension. It's a little bit difficult without a direct back-to-back comparison, but I can tell you that driving on these little back roads here, the ride quality is really quite good. I think it is controlled, but supple. I use the word supple there because after 15 years of doing this job, the word comfortable has lost all meaning. The HR-V drives with more sophistication than its price would suggest, lending itself to satisfying commutes. But the real question, is there any fun to be extracted here? Let's find out in this corner. Okay, I would say there is a sprinkling of sportiness, but really the vibe I'm getting here is controlled, predictable, and confident handling. Yeah, I feel confident. Now, this is the spot where I toss in random observations that I failed to discuss on camera. You know, things like how visibility from the driver's seat is generally good, cabin noise at higher speeds is more than tolerable, rear vents are not included and should be, the key fob is small, helping minimize pocket bulk, and while it's cool that the rear seat cushions pivot downward to create a flat load floor, I do miss the former HR-V's highly flexible rear magic seats. Sadly, the new Civic-esque platform wouldn't accommodate them. Oh, and I did try the HR-V's 3 drive modes. As expected, the Econ mode feels a little bit lethargic for my taste, so I'm going to stick with normal mode. And I'm only mentioning snow mode right now so I can fill a few seconds with this Honda-provided B-roll. Hitting quickly on looks, I'm tempted to describe the new HR-V's aesthetic in detail, but instead, I'm going to do the lazy thing and just show 15 seconds of B-roll under the guise of letting you make up your own mind about it. Say what you will about its looks, but the HR-V feels far more substantive than the budget-oriented first generation. I also like how each trim has its own character. See, here's the Sport trim, and here's the EXL. A big part of the HR-V's elevated aura is the quality of its interior. There are soft materials throughout the interior, supplemented by stylish stitching, and though I wish adjustable lumbar support were available, the front seats are supremely comfortable. Is that the right word? Comfortable? As we start to wrap up, let's talk about price. The MSRP for a base HR-V LX front-wheel drive trim is $23,650. That price includes a 7-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration, a 7-inch digital gauge cluster, single-zone automatic climate control, 10 airbags, and an updated Honda Sensing suite of active driver assist tech. Speaking of Honda Sensing, the lane keeping assist feature does an exceptional job keeping the vehicle in its lane. Meanwhile, the adaptive cruise control is slow to adapt to changes in speed from the vehicle ahead. Aim for baller status by buying the fanciest EXL all-wheel drive trim, and the sum rises to $28,950. But for that price, you'll get a 9-inch infotainment screen, wireless smartphone connectivity, leather-trimmed seats, a moonroof, and dual-zone climate control. Whichever trim you choose, budget an extra $1,245 in destination charges. Notable HR-V competitors include the Toyota Corolla Cross, Chevrolet Blazer, Hyundai Kona, Kia Seltos, and VW Taos. Some of those vehicles are cheaper, more daringly styled, or offer a longer warranty, but the HR-V responds with well-rounded excellence. HR-V Gen 1 was a pragmatic value, but Generation 2 adds upscale vibes to the equation with a sense of style that I'm warming up to. The HR-V is practically designed, a pleasure to drive, and priced right. I think Honda's going to sell a ton of these things. And no matter what point you make to close out your video, always end with a knowing glance.